What's up everyone, it's Nick, and in this video I'm going to show you how I made an entire track only using Serum. We're going to have all the Serum presets for a free download, as well as the Ableton project and MIDI files, so you can really do this in any DAW. That'll be at the top right of the screen. I'm just going to show you a brief overview of each preset and kind of how the instrument plays a role in the whole track. And let's begin with this kick. If you're unfamiliar with Serum, it's a very powerful wavetable synthesizer that's made by X4 Records. We have our two oscillators here and a sub oscillator and a noise generator. So it's mainly these four things that are making sound in Serum. I'm not going to go fully over the UI because that might be a separate video, but let's take a listen to the first instrument here, which is this kick. So a good way to start your kick drums is to use a sine wavetable. You can select which wavetable you want to use in this drop down here. And the envelope one's one of the most important parameters in Serum because by default this is going to control our volume envelope or the loudness of the wave table over time. And so you can see that it's very short, it's staggered. Let me just show you the difference. That's more like a sub bass, and then if I do the attack, so 0 seconds for the attack, 0 seconds for the whole time, and a very short decay. This is like, and those slightly longer decay will start to let in more of the low end of that kick. So the other instruments I have at the beginning are this hat, and this is really easily accomplished by using this noise generator. This is going to be a really short envelope as well on envelope one. There's definitely some effects processing. You can hear the reverb. But Serum comes preloaded with basically samples, so it technically has a sample engine inside of Serum, and these are really good for adding either like percussive sounds or different textures on top of your standard wavetables here. So next we have our sub bass, and it's starting like a sine wave, but then using the wavetable position, it's modulating a little bit. You can see this, the motion. It's adding the second harmonic, which gives us a little more mid-tone to the sub bass so that you can hear it on other systems. And so there's another bass layer kind of responding here and a gurgle layer. There are two separate instances. Let's hear the bass. The LFO is what's actually modulating. It's actually modulating the mix on the filter here. And the reverb, after running into multiband, listen to the difference. The multiband's big in here. So multiband is really going to flatten the dynamics. No matter the low, mid, or high, it's going to sound all pretty uniform. So that can be really nice for getting this reverb sound pretty up there with the rest of the bass. This gurgle just adds a texture. Let's solo this. It's like a little. And I think we accomplished this mainly, the main effect, again, the multiband here. Listen to it without the multiband. So multiband's going to essentially flatten a lot of that high end, and it's going to get the gurgle up a little bit. The last main element at the beginning are these chords, and this is to establish the tonality in C. And it's kind of buzzy. I've selected one of these spectral wavetables, Resi Mess 2, and really I don't think I did too much. Okay, so I did a little bit of hyperdimension, reverb, so I did actually quite a bit of processing here, so let's listen to it without. So that filter is pretty important. You can hear as I disable each effect, which is nice. You can also reorder the effects here if you want to. Cool, so then we get to this build section, which most of the elements are the same. The other main thing is this white noise, which is kind of carrying out throughout. And I think the big thing of this is the slow filter movement. I think is really cool. So if we go to filter, which LFO? Yeah. It's actually on an EQ though, but you can see the LFO2 is kind of going slowly at 2 bars. And it's going slowly and just kind of moving the EQ around, which gives us a nice motion. All right, and then we've got this riser here. That's pretty straightforward. We're just doing a pitch bend modulation in the clip. So pitch bend's going up to 24 semitones. That's 2 octaves. And I picked one of the vowels wavetables that's pretty, I wanted just to kind of stand out. So it had to be a little dense here as far as the harmonic. The next section is my favorite section, and this is where I think it really starts hitting. Now this kick is awesome. I want to shout out Niall from the content team. When he heard that I was doing this video, he was like, let me contribute some presets. I've been working on some drum sounds, and this kick's from him. Yeah, look at that. The beefy like top end is from this noise. So that's really nice, and that's kind of going on this fun rhythm, I think. And really driving. There's a new sub element, and let's see what we did with that. That's just pretty simple. Same technique. I really like this technique of using this specific digital FFT, add the second harmonic, and then doing just a little wavetable modulation to get it up there. So we've got that little honk, bass honk here. And that's really easily accomplished using FM synthesis. Again, what we're doing is we're using 2 sine waves. We're using FM from B. So B is sending signal into A and modulating its frequency. The other very important component to the sound design method is the octave separation. Listen to it when it's just the same octave. Oh, it doesn't even sound like anything. And as you separate the B, or the one that's modulating, the modulator, if you will, gets higher than the actual thing that we're hearing, which is, again, A. Oh, that's a really high honk. Maybe 2, which is where I had it. Let's hear 4. The other very important percussion element are the toms. And we can hear, let's look at that pattern. So it's very syncopated. It's basically really outlining the upbeat. So it's really talking against the kick, which is really nice. It gives a lot of energy that way. And that clap is so good. Again, I think that one's from Niall. So let's go ahead and look at that clap. I think it's mainly probably just noise. Let's see. Yeah, so oscillator A and B are off and sub is off. It's actually using only just this noise generator. The reverb's kind of nice. And yeah, just is a nice emphasis. Yeah, so it outlines every other measure. So that kind of keeps going. And then the other really main thing is that I drop in this melody that I really enjoy. So this is really simple. This is just this tresillo rhythm kind of going up the melody. This is what the actual pattern is. But what I did is I took the mix of the dry wet and made it really wet. The reverb's really boomy and it kind of crystallizes into this rhythm, and that's a really cool effect. Listen to the in context. I made a duplicate version of the instance and played around with the reverb. See, it's the same wavetable. It's this 4088 table. It's pretty bright. And I kind of played around with the automation of the reverb and the panning for sure. There's another bass response. And that's pretty heavy in the distortion. If you didn't know, you could also change the skin. You can do that right here. Right here. And for the distortion, let's see. I think I did something crazy on the distortion in the sense that, yeah, X shaper. You know, this is a slept on feature of Serum, but you can go to the distortion and select X Shaper. And what that gives you is the ability to draw in your own distortion curves. And that's really fun. Let's hear the difference if I move around these. Maybe versus. So yeah, Serum is a workhorse synthesizer. If you haven't tried it yet, we have it on Splice Rent to Own. You'll find it in the description of this video. You can try it for free for 3 days and download these patches and see if you like playing around with it. If you like the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'll be releasing new videos weekly, so be sure to turn that bell icon on so you know when we release videos. Great, so let's take a listen to the whole thing, and just remember there are free presets as well as an Ableton project and MIDI files.